Hello, welcome to the Metal Gear Solid review. Listen, I didn't have time, I didn't feel like making a skit, I'm gonna be honest. Making a skit was too thought-provoking, and I just wanted to get this video out and about. I just have to say that this video contains strong language. It contains a lot of cussing, and it contains a lot of raging, it contains a lot of controversial opinions. So if you do not rock with those, you well, maybe scratch the controversial opinions. What I meant by like in the game. The important part is that this video contains strong language. I just wanted that disclaimer. It has blood. If you do not rock with adult stuff, gore, then this video is not for you, but you should leave a like anyway. There's no good transition, so here's the video. The story takes place 4 years after Metal Gear Solid Guns of the Patriots. An African nation ravaged by civil war, the Prime Minister and Raiden are attacked by a rival PMC group called Desperado Enforcement LLC, an American private military group who basically wants to disrupt the peace. The president gets taken hostage by Desperado, and we knew where this was going. After the president getting killed by a man named Sundowner and getting our asses kicked by a man named Jetstream Sam messed us up. He messed us up pretty good. The goal of these people are to basically disrupt the peace. Basically, they don't like peace. They love war. War gives money. Yada 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 yada. After the president being killed and getting our asses handed to us by Jetstream Sam, our body becomes cybernetically advanced with the help of a PMC group called Maverick and a man named Doctor. The Maverick team sends out Raiden to find out what Desperado is doing. What is their goal at the end of the day besides war, not love? Fast forwarding, our adventure takes Raiden to a lab that is used by Desperado, and we find out that Desperado is using children as child soldiers. And this makes Raiden feel some type of way because, let me give you some knowledge, back at Metal Gear Solid 2, Raiden was a child soldier himself. So this basically strikes a nerve in Raiden and becomes batshit crazy in order to find Desperado and the ones who are behind it. This forces Raiden to leave Maverick and to kill everyone that is in Desperado and the ones who are behind the child soldier program. For the next few hours, Raiden does a lot of soul searching within himself and eventually comes to terms with his killer side, Jack the Ripper. Way before that, we get a new partner called Blade Wolf. They always say a man's best friend is a dog. Raiden chose the dog from SPD Emergency. Wolf acts as recon, helping Raiden behind the scenes. Nobody in this story does anything major in the grand scheme of things. It is Raiden's story and Raiden's alone. I just want to mention that if you're feeling that these characters are not mentioned much, it's because that they don't really have a lot of involvement in this story, besides helping Raiden in one way or another. A few ninja butt kicking later, we see the man behind the scenes, Senator Armstrong, and the World Marshal secretly funding Desperado. Raiden later learns that Armstrong wants to assassinate the president during the peace negotiations to basically start another war. With the help of Sonny returning from Metal Gear 4, Raiden and Blade Wolf go head to head with Armstrong, and one Metal Gear later, and Jesus Christ, Armstrong is too huge for his own good. He is coming with us with Moby Dick energy, bro. Moby Dick, he's going to use those nano machines on something else. I'm just saying. You didn't hear it from me, but nano machines are going to be used by something else, and it's not going to be fist fighting. Look at him. He can do whatever he wants. He was in a football. He's a football player. You know how football players be in varsity or you know what other league? Armstrong's goal is for the weak to perish and the strong to survive. He is a Darwinist. After getting our asses beaten by Armstrong multiple times, mind you, Raiden has had enough. With Blade Wolf coming with Sam's sword as a parting gift from him, he comes in clutch and throws it at us. Raiden's killer side being disgusted with Armstrong has done, it's time to kill him. After Raiden defeating Armstrong, that's pretty much it. the story ends, everything goes back to normal. Blade Wolf gets a good home. We see Sunny again. Raiden's with Maverick once more. Everything wraps up in a neat little bow. This story is really simple. It is not complex. I skipped over a good chunk of the story. Even then, the whole story that I just told you is basically the grand scheme of things. This game just follows the good guy versus bad guy trope, and this is really something that I can appreciate as a first time Metal Gear player, because Metal Gear is known for their long cutscenes and intricate plot points, but I can safely say that this story is not complex and is very easy to follow. And given its short story time frame, there is not much details that can be shed. There are references throughout the story, but it's just nods to Metal Gear fans. I never played Metal Gear 4, but I do recognize Sunny, and she was the biggest Metal Gear reference in this story. So stuff like that. As I said before, this is Raiden's story and Raiden's story alone. For the characters, if I'm being honest, most of them don't really hit the mark for me. The only characters who made an impression on me were Jetstream Sam, Courtney, my wife, and this disgusting, putrid garbage, you son of a... The villains are in the same boat as your characters that help you throughout the game. They are one-dimensional and not interesting. I only remember Maestro for her flapjacks and Sundowner because he had an easy fight, and that's about it. Everyone here is very simple, and they do not get a lot of screen time. They do not get a lot of screen time for you to get attached. If you want to get to attach to these characters, basically, if you want to feel for them, you listen to their codec conversations. You can only listen to your Maverick comrades, and that's about it. That's how I found out that Courtney is my wife. But seriously, this is Raiden's story and Raiden's story alone. He is the only one that gets character development, besides Jetstream Sam and Blade Wolf in their respective DLCs. Let me state this for the record right now. I play this game on hard mode, so I have opinions. If you're a first time player and you don't know Metal Gear, you don't know how Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance work, you press that normal or easy play button. You play on normal or easy. That is my advice. That's how you're going to learn the game. That's how you get comfortable with the game. I am different. I belong in these streets. I am a gangster. That's why I picked hard mode. This game is a hack and slash stealth hybrid minus the stealth. Why be sneaky when you can kick some booty? I have to be honest with you. Raiden feels so nice. I never wanted to play stealth in this game. Never ever in my life. Raiden's combos, the way that you just control him, the way that he kicks people's butt, and especially after you get your upgrades, you get this long stick pull, you get scythe. I barely use his scissors, but like even with the sword alone, once you start upgrading Raiden, he feels wonderful. I can honestly say that my most fun time with Raiden, although I get my butt kicked by the bosses just because, you know, beginner's traps. Once you really get the hang of this game, and I mean like once you understand the combos, you understand Raiden, you understand Blade Mode, and specifically Blade Mode, you could wipe out at least Small Fry so freaking quickly. You just do one slash, go into Blade Mode, hit that little square, and just take their essence. And if you do that, half of your battles are like cut in half. You make the fight so easy when you do a slash, Blade Mode, get their essence, and that's it. This is not Devil May Cry. This is not Bayonetta. This is Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. Cut in half time. We got business to stand on. Speaking of Blade Mode has to be the most cleanest mechanic I have ever seen a game can offer. because blade mode, like I said, you slash them, you hit that circle or square, and you get their essence. But if they're a boss fight, then it gets a little bit tricky, or like a harder enemy, it gets a little bit more trickier, because you do have to do your awesome rinky-dinky combos on them, and then once they turn blue, then you could do blade mode stuff, and it doesn't happen immediately. So let's just say you're versing a bigger guy, and you're doing enough damage for him to take an arm off, so you go into blade mode and you just take an arm off. You have to continue doing these combos in order to take the other arm off, a leg, maybe a head, and then once they're blue in the full body aspect, then you can hit them and steal their essence. And you can do, listen, Raiden can do some really cool combos, and it can look so clean. I loved using this totem pole for crowd control, and it was the best weapon for me in this game. The second was the scythe. The scythe only came up once I looked up a YouTube tutorial to see like what was going on with this monsoon terrible character. But the scythe, like I said, is so cool. It stuns enemies once it's turned purple, and you could just do combos. It's so good. The stun lasts for a long time too. Plus, not only that, once you use your scythe, Raiden just like he just comes to you. F ninja running, we're flying towards you. When you do use blade mode and you steal their essence, it's highly recommended to do this in the first place, because you hit the square, you steal their essence, your energy and your health goes fully heal, like a Pokemon full restore. And this mechanic honestly saves you a lot of time and saves your life multiple times. Let's just say you're close to dying. Yo, go to a small fry enemy, hit them once, go and see the square, get their essence, you're back to full health, 200 health and full energy. I want to say around chapter 4 or 3, when the game allows us to use Jack the Ripper. Oh, it broke the game. It legit broke the game. You're in a crowd, use Jack the Ripper. It's basically blade mode without going into blade mode. Raiden just like cuts everything up. Jack the Ripper mode uses your energy. That's its biggest con, but it does not even matter. The pros outweigh the cons. Just go into blade mode, hit the square, get their essence, and you're just back to using Jack the Ripper mode at full energy HP. Like, there is no... This game is so cool. Raiden is like the best character in this game. He's clean, he's fun, you get stuff, you upgrade his stuff, you get costumes. Raiden has a lot going for him to make him such a fun character to use, man. Raiden's story, gameplay wise, is so freaking good. I love it. You could also go to your codec and customize him to upgrade him if you have enough BP. BP is basically your currency. There's a lot of ways that you could get BP actually. You can get BP by defeating enemies, defeating bosses. If you have more, let's just say you have full ammo of RPGs, you could get that RPG that's laying down and get some BP because of it. By the end of every mission, I was running stacks on BP. You get like 50,000 BP after every end mission. Although I'm a huge fan of this game now, there are problems that I have ran into. I wanted to get the positives out the way before everybody starts hating me for the things that I'm going to say about this game. So without further ado, cue the Majora's Mask MP3 file. So in this game, you have a parry mechanic. Parrying in this game is simultaneously balanced and simultaneously fucking atrocious. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, my god, you get ripped into shreds. I played this game on a controller, so I don't know the PC. I played the PC version of this game. I don't know how the PC mechanics work, but I was playing on a controller. If you're playing on a controller, the way that you parry is that you use the thumbstick on the direction of the enemy, and you press the X button. Like I said, most of the time, it works. In the heat of the moment, it doesn't want to work, especially with me. And you want to know what's the irony of this? What I just told you was basically how to block. It doesn't teach you how to parry, it taught you how to block. You want to know how to successfully parry in this game? You do the same thing. You get your thumbstick, you press the X button in the direction of the enemy, right? Cool, we got that down. We know how to freaking block like pros. The way that I did it, and the way that I read this Reddit post, you flick the thumbstick and the X button at the same time, and when the enemy is just about to hit you, you press it. You just flick it. When the enemy is about to hit you, you just flick it. When did it say this? It did not say this in the tutorial. It said parrying, but it wasn't parrying, it was blocking. So I don't know why this miscommunication with this game happened, but that's something that you have to learn by yourself. And you want to know when I learned how to parry? I'll tell you. It was when I was fighting Mistral. That's 2 chapters later, or a chapter later. That's like an hour into the game. You don't learn this. You don't learn this when you're fighting this big Metal Gear, fighting the small enemies. No, I learned it when I was going with Maestro. Listen, this parry mechanic is not the end of the world. You could perfectly go through this game without knowing and just blocking every single time. Although parrying is an essential mechanic in this game, especially with bosses. So I don't even know. They made me, I was fighting this dog, this SPD emergency dog, for a good 30 to 45 minutes, not knowing how to parry. In my opinion, this mechanic could have been better. It could have been a single button, like Kingdom Hearts. How do you F up a parry button? You know? Not that Kingdom Hearts has a parry mechanic, but I'm just saying its block buttons on a single button compared to its other I'm done. I'm done talking about this stupid parry mechanic. On to the next one. Okay. We're doing this. We are doing this. Fuck Monsoon. My god, never in my life I thought I would hate a boss fight as much as this dude. You go in expecting, thinking it's another manageable boss fight. Maestro was a little annoying. The dog, you didn't know how to parry, but you beat him anyway. They're not that hard, they're just annoying. You go to Monsoon. Monsoon is the definition of difficulty spike. This little sugar honey iced tea, let me tell you it's some of his moves. He uses smoke. What are you, Smoke from Mortal Kombat? Get out of here. I'm sorry. He uses smoke as one of his first attacks, right? He uses smoke and you can't hit him. You have to block. I mean specifically block. You can try to parry, but parry delays your time for another block. That's just me. I don't know what y'all's experience are, but whenever I try to parry this guy, he just backs away. So you might as well just block his attacks, because what's the point of parrying? In fact, what's the point of attacking him at all? A segue to my next point, he becomes purple once you do enough damage to him, and you cannot hit him. You can't use blade mode, you can't slice him, you can't use your long totem pole stick that you get after beating Maestro. Can't do nothing. Nothing. Nada. I think, I want to stress this, I think that you're supposed to use the EMP grenade or a bomb. Oh, you can't shoot missiles at him. You can't use bombs. My bad. I think you're supposed to use the EMP thing that stuns him, and that's how you attack, and you go into blade mode and you hit his head. I think that's how you're supposed to do damage. How was I supposed to know that? Let me just stress this. I think. How was I supposed to know that during the fight in the heat of the moment when I was using Jack the Ripper mode? Jack the Ripper mode, just like, I stopped that mode completely, because what's the point of hitting this guy when you can't hit him at all? He gave me PTSD! Guess what, Raiden? I'm a child freaking soldier too! I have seen the darkness of human nature as well! I was there for like a good hour 30 minutes, just hoping to hit him. And I have to stress this was on hard, so it made this experience even worse. It made this experience worse. Oh, you thought I was done? No, because you have to verse him again. But I went in, I saw Maestro, and I'm like, okay, Maestro's pretty easy, whatever. You parry, you beat her. The little robots are annoying, but that's okay. This man comes out of the smoke and hits me, and I just cry. And let me tell you something else. He shows up in a cutscene in Jetstream Sam, and I thought that I have to verse him. I cried. Look at me. I cried. I'm gonna show the scene again. I cried.
Life just got 10 times worse.
Admittedly, the second boss fight is a little easier. With the help of a YouTube tutorial, when I wanted to see how people actually beat this boss fight with an S rank, you can use your scythe, pop his head. I don't know when you use it. You could just use your scythe. You can pop his head, stuns him. Use blade mode. You knock his head off, and he becomes more manageable. Once you know his little shtick, and you use the scythe size, he becomes more manageable, admittedly. Let me tell you, if he was a boss fight in Jetstream Sam's DLC, I would have cried. I would have just stood there and just gave up the DLC entirely. I hate Monsoon. Speaking of Sam's DLC, including Blade Wolf, in my opinion, are really bare bones. I like Sam's DLC gameplay wise, but he's not like Raiden. He comes in with big dick energy, and you will play with big dick energy. What I mean by this is that you want to focus on using your heavy attacks more, because those are your damage dealers, at least in my experience. And especially when I was fighting Senator Armstrong, his heavy attacks were just doing justice. I honestly couldn't care about Sam's story, although little intriguing admittedly. I just couldn't care about his story. He's fun to play to some extent. He reminds me a lot of Devil May Cry, something that I felt Raiden was like not, if that makes sense. If you're playing as Sam, you're essentially playing as Dante from Devil May Cry, just with his own beats and whistles. I say Dante because Sam has this little cocky thing so instead of using your radar like you do with Raiden using the up D-pad, when you use your up D-pad for Sam, he taunts the enemies and it becomes enraged. So that's why I mean when he's like a little Dante, if that makes sense. Now for Blade Wolf. Blade Wolf is honestly the reverse for me. I love his story but hate his gameplay. His DLC story is basically that he wants freedom. He doesn't want to do whatever it is Maestro wants, or even probably what Desperado wants. He just wants to do his own thing. At the end of his DLC, it looks like that's not the case. But we obviously know that Blade Wolf joins Raiden and Team Maverick and lives a happy life. And it kind of shows towards the end of the DLC. I say end because this is a flashback. We see that he's telling his story to Sunny, and Sunny's just listening, and Sunny feels bad, and Sunny is happy that Blade Wolf is on their side. And such an adorable moment. Sunny pets Blade Wolf, and Blade Wolf wags his tail like an actual dog, and it's so freaking cute, and I love it. I love Blade Wolf's story. It's so cute and interesting, and I just love it. You are most likely going to play Blade Wolf's DLC last, or if you chose Blade Wolf over Sam, then that's fine too. My point is that when you're coming from Raiden, and especially if you're coming from Raiden and Sam, playing an actual let me say this, playing an actual Metal Gear Solid game is not fun. It's not fun to me. Basically, you're really weak. You're stupidly weak. You can fight, but you're not that strong. So you have to rely on heavy stealth attacks in order to progress each VR trading level. And I say it's not fun because the majority of your playtime is literally beating the ever-living crap out of your enemies. So in my opinion, that's why Blade Wolf's DLC gameplay wise falls flat, and that's why it's sad because I love his story. I love his backstory. It's so good, and I love the epilogue to it. I played his DLC on very hard, and I immediately turned it down to easy mode. Granted, at that point I was very burnt out of the game, admittedly. Although it's a very fun game, by the time I got to Blade Wolf's DLC, I couldn't care. I was very burnt out by the end of it, especially when they were making me do stealth missions, when I wanted to like beat people up, because Blade Wolf has a very cool moveset, but the fact that he's reliant on stealth just makes me want to just claw my ears. If you thought Sam came in with big dick energy, this man comes in with Moby Dick energy. Shit, man, Armstrong does not fuck around. He comes in a Metal Gear, his own Metal Gear. And once the Metal Gear fails, once you beat the Metal Gear, he beats the shit out of you, asks you to join. Of course, we refuse because we're the good guys. Proceeds to beat the shit out of you again. Like, hello, are we the main character or a chewed up dog toy? I can't see the difference. We look the same. This man has literally no screen time and makes the biggest impression on the Metal Gear community.
I'm in love with Senator Armstrong.
I'm serious. We literally see him in one scene before the end of the game where he has majority of the screen time, and that's only like an hour depending on your like difficulty. For his boss fight with Raiden, it's not that bad when you know what's going on. Armstrong has a lot of beginner's traps. I'm talking about the very final fight of the game. You can't do nothing to this man in like when he's trying to beat you. He's literally invincible for the first two boss fights, but in the final boss fight he has a lot of beginner's traps, and I was mad. I was mad at Armstrong, I won't even lie. But that's only because I didn't know what to do, but chat was very helpful. They just said use defensive offense, which is a fantastic move. And once I used that, his boss fight became 10 times easier and 10 times more manageable. However, with Sam, I don't know what happened. I felt like there was a flip-flop between the Armstrong that I was versing with Raiden and the Armstrong that I was versing with Sam. Because with Sam, you have to use his heavy... He has defensive offense, but you have to use his heavy attacks in conjecture with like his reset animation, if that makes sense. Maybe it was because I was not using Raiden. That's my excuse. I'm just gonna hold on to that. But Armstrong felt so more bulky and disgusting, if that makes sense. He's charging at you. He becomes a Beyblade. He attacks you like a lot. That's just my experience. I don't know if it's a game thing, but I felt that there was a huge difference between the Armstrong that I fought in the final part of the game and the Armstrong that I felt fighting the DLC part of the game. I don't know. You have to tell me if there's like a difference. Thank God I didn't fight Armstrong with Blade Wolf, because God knows what would happen with that SPD emergency dog. We can't end this video off without talking about Metal Gear Rising's music. Oh my god, I love specifically the boss fight musics because those are the cream of the crop. Every song, just even this disgusting monsoon, every single song slaps. There was never a dull moment when it came to the music. It didn't become annoying. Even if I kept losing to this monsoon guy, I will never drop this. I hate monsoon. It never became annoying. It never became repetitive. It was just epicness and such a great listen to. Even not like playing the game, and listening to it on YouTube or whatever, it's such a great listen. It's every song. I love Maestro's theme a lot. Regrettably, I really enjoy Monsoon's theme, Armstrong's theme. Specifically, his final boss is so good. A lot of these songs are just so good. I really enjoy all of them, and it's specifically for the boss fights, but generally the music is really good. The boss fight music is what makes this game like, this music is just so good. Oh, welcome to the end of the Metal Gear Solid Revengeance review. I want to mention that this took a long time. I mean, I had everything. It's just, you get busy with life and just life just does not want to give you the time of day, but that's okay. We made it, we finished it. We're on to the next review. Yeah, I'm so tired, bro. Like I said before, I very much appreciate y'all coming to the end of this video. It means a lot to me. If you watch this from start to finish, I very much appreciate you. I worked hard. I want to say, I don't care if this is like, you know, oh, he said that. I don't even know where I was going with that. I work hard. You better like this freaking video or else I'm coming to your house and I'm gonna steal your dog. I don't even know. If you like this style of content, just like, subscribe, and more. And that's all you gotta do. If you want to join the Moon Discord server, the link's down in the description below. Mooners, return to base, return to base.